Hey there, good morning. Thanks so much for coming back to my stream. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is July 26th, 2018. We're going to write some code together today. I'm noticing I'm wearing... I forgot that there's a little bit of green in my hat today. I'm wearing my Lucio hat today, right? If I say it like our friend MF Pallytime, it's Lucio! But not really. That's not how I do that. Hey there, chat. I see a bunch of friends out there. Oh my gosh, our friend Kevin Spicy from the PH16 community is here. Absolutely. There's some Lucio. Love. And I'm thrilled with Overwatch this week because my team, the Philadelphia Fusion, are in the Grand Championships this weekend. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to get tickets and run up there to Brooklyn, go see the matches on Saturday. We'll see. So I was actually thinking it would be appropriate to play this. I love this music. But I don't think I would get away with that. I think Blizzard would be a little upset at me. So I'm going to go back to our music to code by. And today I'm going to play Orchid. This is the latest song from our friend Carl Franklin. It's music that gets you in the groove, gets you focused. You can always check out his music at mtcb.pwop.com. Or if you're interested in getting the app, you can get free music immediately. Get 3 free songs, I believe it is, and you'll get a song each month with a subscription. Check it out at musictoflowby.com, and that runs great on both iPhone and Android. All right, I need to check out, what do we got here? Banifist, did they make it? I stopped watching after the 4th game. Oh, yes. Philadelphia had a 2-0 sweep over New York, and they won the second match in 5. It was really good to see. I do talk about Overwatch occasionally, Nemanja, but it's not my primary thing that we're talking about here. I wanted to run a Overwatch shoutcast during the match on Saturday last weekend. I installed the new Skype, and the new Skype video it's supposed to be better. It's not been reliable for me. I don't know if it's my drivers or what, but I'm having problems getting it to reliably connect through to OBS. So I'm wary about getting that working, and certainly as we look forward at some of the future guests that we have out there. You can't make the Skype video work anymore. You need to use, so what they've done is they've integrated something called NDI technology, and what you're able to do actually is take the webcam feed directly out of Skype and integrate it with OBS using a plugin for OBS. This is supposed to make it a heck of a lot easier for content creators. However, 3 out of 4 times that I try and connect and start a test call, I actually have 2 Skype accounts, so I call myself, all I get is a blue screen. 3 out of 4 times. Non-stop. It is so reliable. 3 out of 4 times, I get solid blue screen. I do not get camera coming through. So, all right. Crows, I'm new here. I'm glad I found this stream. Oh, cool. Well, welcome, Crows. Thank you. Thank you, So Serious Now. And yeah, because it's green, you can kind of see through it. That'll go away here when we get to some of our code. I just want to make sure that our widgets are running. Oh, look at that. Docker has crashed on me. That's nice. Thanks, Docker. Thanks so much. I want to make sure that our widgets are running and our bot is there live in the chat room. I tried starting it and it failed immediately on me when I went to launch the widgets. I have a feeling there was a patch or something that knocked out Docker here. So we'll see if we can get that up and running. I continue to run into, and you've witnessed, the reliability issues that I've had on Docker. Hey, Code Rush, thanks so much for the host. I appreciate that. I hope I'm not stupid and you can find whispers. I can find whispers. Right? I'm watching what's going on in the chat room here. Let's see. I don't want to cross-promote. No, it's fine. You can cross-promote the dev chatter. You can see they're hosting over here. Brendan will be hosting another C# focused stream after this one. Let's see, yeah, Docker's not starting. It's crashed and not starting. Wonderful. Alright. Let's... Oh, no, maybe I do have it. Maybe I do have the... Oh, yeah, I do have it. Oh my gosh. There was a new version of Docker that was installed and it didn't restart properly. That's what's happening. Alright. Let's head over here. I normally code in Visual Studio 2017, and that's what we're going to be using. What do we see? Is my cam between two monitors? No, it's right here. I have 3 monitors here. I actually have 5, with a Mac down here that's monitoring the health of the network connection. But over here, I have the chat room up. I have an IRC client called Chatty that I'm watching, and then I have OBS and Docker I'm managing and watching on this screen over here. Let's see, what do we have here? Did you see McMaster.NET Core plugins? No, I did not. Is that Sohail? Oh wow, that's gonna be a tough one. Sohail Alizada. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Coding Monkey, does the Wiki project use identity, user manager, etc.? Yes, it does. We've moved some of those things around. They're in an area. If you look at that project. Streams on Thursday start right after, so you can switch over. Yeah, and we'll probably raid dev chatter when we're done here. I saw CoreWiki project. Is project built on stream? And if it is, what video to start? Good question. And that actually leads into a couple of other questions that I've gotten from folks around how do I get started? Gosh, Jeff, you've been doing the streaming thing for a bit here. There's a little bit of a culture thing that happens here on Twitch that some folks aren't used to. There's, how do I ask questions? What's with the emotes that I see in stream? There's some, and how do I get involved with the projects? All very good questions. We started, Crows, the very first show where we started on the CoreWiki project is way down here. It was in March with our friend Shane Boyer from Dev Intersection in Orlando. Let's go over to that view. Right here, from Dev Intersection in Orlando. And this is where we started, we introduced.
This is
and
the world's largest marketplace for online learning. On Udemy, I learned how to use Python.
There we go. So there's Shane and I. We were on stage at Dev Intersection, and we were talking about, and we introduced the CoreWiki project. So if you want, you can check that out, and you'll see we talk about it every couple episodes. I usually mention it in the descriptions here, so you can search through and find it there. Let's see, what do we have here? There is a playlist in the README. Yeah. They've done a really good job here of touching on all the different places where we've discussed it. Did you work on tests for Wiki project yet? Asks Akira. Akira, is that how you pronounce that? We have worked on some tests. Some of the folks that you've seen with that you see in the chat room actually have submitted some pull requests with a couple of tests and some refactoring that are going to be really cool for us to add into the project, and I'm looking forward to merging those so it gets a little bit more reliable when we do our continuous integration. I have given up making it happen to get the identity user class outside of the web project. Oh, thank you, Akira. All right. Right, let's make sure we got that one right. Okay, one down. I should create a command for chatbot that will calculate total hours of my videos on YouTube if it's possible. I will tell you that the number of minutes that YouTube reports to me that have been watched over the last month is over 100,000. Over 100,000 minutes have been watched on YouTube of my videos in the last month. There's now more than 110 videos out there based on this stream. I'm thrilled with that. I never thought we'd get this far. We're about 8 months into the stream, and we continue to grow. I mean, oh my gosh, I didn't even look at the number of followers. 2976. 2976. Where the heck did that come from? That is too much. We need to fix that, Namanju. I think you're, my gosh, we're going to hit 3,000 here in the next few days. Because we average about 10 new followers a stream. Wow. And the promise is still out there, and I need to put it somewhere on the stream. I need to put it here in the video somewhere. And our GitHub scoreboard ticker isn't running. I want to make sure that's running because we've got a couple of really good pull requests we're going to merge today. If we get to 5,000 followers, this is my promise to you. If we get to 5,000 followers by October 20, tell your friends, tell your families, tell your grandmother, tell your dog. Go out there, click follow on Jeff's stream. Just like Mr. Morja? Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome, Mr. Morja. If you click follow, just like Mr. Morja does, just did, and we get to 5,000 by October 20, I will dye my beard rainbow for the Halloween week shows. I have a keynote in Vegas the week after, so I hope it washes out good. 500,000 followers? No. 5,000. 500,000 followers would be amazing. I'm no Dr. Disrespect. I'm no ninja over there playing Fortnite. But we're learning here together. Vegas is the place to be if it doesn't wash out. Well, okay. R.H. Sumner asks, have you looked at Blazor yet? Yes? Oh my gosh, and Crows, thanks so much for the subscription. I'll match that subscription, and we're going to make a donation to our friends at Girl Develop It so that they can help teach women, teach girls, underserved minorities, how to write code, just like we're doing here. Plus, you're going to get to use the .NET bot emote, and use the tier 1 sub. Oh my gosh, that's even better. Thank you so much. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, of course, you can turn that into Twitch Prime, and you can get a free subscription to the channels. You're welcome to do a higher level subscription if you'd like. There's other emotes out there. Thanks so much. Thank you, Crows. I really appreciate that. And yes, Mr. Regs, I know my Twitch meta. I'm going to TwitchCon in a few months here, and oh yes, I expect to run into some of these folks and ask them some questions and learn how to make our stream here a little bit better. But regarding Blazor, R.H. Sumner was asking, I want to do another stream or two on Blazor. There's some interesting things happening there. I've been talking to the team as they've been developing and growing the product. It's something that I think would be very interesting and very compelling for them to share and write some code about on stream. There you go, you get the C# bot. Absolutely. And feel free to spread that around and share it on other developer streams or wherever you'd like. Alright. So I wanted to talk about extensibility today. So we spent some time with our friend Miguel Castro on our architecture workshop. The pheasant with an agenda. Okay, there's our leader in the cool nickname of the day. Welcome, pheasant. And there's our friend Brian Clark hosting. Thank you, Brian. The pheasant with an agenda. Yeah, look forward to seeing you in the chat room. I need to spend some more time learning about Blazor before we host something where I have somebody on who can actually speak to the project. Do I still work for Microsoft? Asks Level 2. I still do get paychecks. I think I'm still good. Is there something I should know?
And you blow it!
No, I didn't blow it. I didn't blow it! We're actually starting up a Visual Studio channel. You're going to see some of our friends, like Dev Chatter, myself, Suze Hinton, some other really cool developer streamers that I've found that I've gotten their permission to host on our Visual Studio stream, and I'm adding more folks as I discover them. If you're hosting a developer stream out there, a coding stream, and you use a little bit of Visual Studio, let me know, and we'll look at hooking up as hosted from the Visual Studio stream. We're going to be building out that channel over the next month. We are building it out. There's there's a lot of stuff going on, and you're going to see some cool live content coming directly to that Visual Studio channel from Channel 9 Studios, from Microsoft Studios, from developers all around the world, MVPs, vendors, all kinds of folks who've got some great things to share, developer stories to share that you might be interested in. And it's not just going to be .NET. It might be Python. It might be JavaScript. But it'll all be things around Visual Studio, around Azure, around cool developer topics that you might be interested in. There's a great guy named Nicholas that runs a channel called Serpent AI, and on the weekends he writes some Python code in Visual Studio Code to teach an AI how to beat video games. I think that's really cool. VS Code is very okay. Very, very okay. We love Visual Studio Code. A lot of folks out there like it. Folks out there use it even though they don't have the highest perception of Microsoft. They aren't thrilled with Microsoft, but they still love Visual Studio Code. It's completely open source, free for anybody to use, and you can use cool things like Visual Studio Live Share. And the new Visual Studio Live Share audio. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Oh my gosh. Visual Studio Live Share audio. This was so cool when I heard this. They snuck this one past me. I didn't even know it was happening. Where is it? Visual Studio. It's not this one. There is now. You can now make phone calls. You can get on an audio call inside of Visual Studio Live Share, and I don't see it here. Where is it? Live Share. It's on the marketplace. VS Code needs Razor IntelliSense. There's a whole thing going on there with IntelliSense and Razor that's beyond just Visual Studio Code. I'm going to search for Live Share Audio. I thought it was called VS Live Share Audio. There it is. I was right. This guy. Visual Studio Live Share Audio. So you can actually, from a Live Share experience, when you have this extension on, you can start an audio call so that everybody who's sharing code is chatting. Very cool stuff. So that's available for, this is in preview. I believe this is for Visual Studio Code. I'm not sure if it's also for Visual Studio, but you can check that out. All right, off topic. Bringing it back in. Level 2 asks, do you work from home? Yes. Hope will be better quality compared to Skype. Ooh, Akira. What I've done, and I've had great success. I actually have used Discord and Microsoft Teams while I've done productive live coding that isn't here on stream. It's been pretty good. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Dangle. I'm not going to say your full name there, but it does have audio. You have to. It's a secondary plugin you have to add in. So I wanted to spend some time today digging in a little bit further on extensibility. We even opened a project here for new data architecture, but it sounds like some folks really got inspired from the work that our friend Miguel Castro did during the architecture workshop on feature extensibility. And you're welcome to go back and review the video that we did with Miguel. We went for about an hour and a half. We went a little bit long. And what Miguel introduced was a way for us to during the save of an article in our wiki. So the CoreWiki project is it's supposed to be a very basic wiki, but it's growing up. It's quickly getting some really good enterprise-like features, and we've had videos with friends like Miguel, Jimmy Bogard, Julie Lerman, Steve Smith. We had Rocky Latka on a little bit ago, and we've talked about some very enterprisey types of features that for maintainability and growth of the application might make a lot of sense. And what Miguel showed us was a way to intercept the save process and add in features, optional features, that we can light up appropriately depending on who's running the application, right? So if the CoreWiki is deployed and a church wants to run it, they may want to censor some topics, was the key example Miguel had, right? They may want to remove profanities. And he had a simple find and replace in there that he could use. And he actually gave us now a pull request with all the extensions that he built as part of preparing for that architecture workshop. And he's got a bunch of files that were changed here introducing these extensibility modules. Now, we're probably going to take this in. We're probably going to modify it real quick because I see there's another pull request out there from Erwin that modifies and takes this in a good direction for continuing to extend the application and to start to consolidate some of this extensibility concepts so that we can maintain and grow these types of things. Late because I was heads down in some tricky code. No problem, C17. All right, ACR. What was showed in the workshop is interesting. Yeah, I think it was. All right. You think Erwin's pull is bigger and better, says Nemanja. And Crows is working right now and watching. I hear that from a number of folks that they're working and watching. And that's okay. All right. What do we got over here? No, we're good. All right. So I want to bring in these changes from Miguel, and we'll start adapting them with the other pull requests that are out there. Here you can see the profanity check module that Miguel wrote, where he initializes and attaches before an article is submitted. Let's intercept, and we'll actually go and say remove profanity if there's anything in there. And all he's doing is literally a string replace. And that's, he's looking in an array of words, and in a array, a collection of words that we want to remove, and he just, for the purposes of the sample, just wrote some of those pseudo bad words, right, that we want to kind of avoid. Let's see, Freja, is that Freja? Am I pronouncing that right? Hello in Belgium. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Is there an ebook for Docker containers, the eShop containers with ASP.NET Core 2.1? I don't think it's updated for ASP.NET Core 2.1, but if you go to .NET, there is a documents. Is it documents? No. There's an architecture link here. There it is, architecture, microservices, and Docker. Check that out and you'll see information there. Mountains Cloud and Data Center Management blog. Okay. So, I'm pretty sure I'm going to just merge in what Miguel has here, and then we'll adapt some of these other things that we have coming in from Erwin to kind of complete where we are here. Now he's merging into the dev branch. I think, is Erwin merging into the extensibility, the feature extensibility branch here. So we got Miguel merging into the wrong branch. I would have preferred him going into the feature branch. Right, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, look at that. I got another one right here. All right, I'm 2 for 2 in pronouncing people's names here. Check it out locally and merge it myself. I think that's probably the way to go here, to merge that in where I want it. A lot of Miguel's stuff was in that branch, yeah. So let's copy out the command line instructions here, and I'm going to open my PowerShell. There it is. All right. We'll go over here. And okay. So I'm going to check out Miguel Castro's. I don't want to check it out over dev, actually. I want to check it out over the feature extensibility branch. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm creating a branch called Miguel Castro 67 dev. It's based on my extensibility branch. And now I'm going to pull in Miguel's features. Now, why is it saying pull it into dev? Oh, no, I'm pulling from his dev branch. Right. All right, here we go. We don't see top of PowerShell. You don't? Where my cursor is. Is that better? So I have a couple of conflicts. They should be easy to manage. Now it's okay. All right, cool. All right, let's see what we got here. So it looks like I've got 6 conflicts we need to resolve, and I like to use Visual Studio Code to resolve my conflicts. It's a little bit easier for me to visualize, and I get cool things like this. So let's go over here. Here are 1, 2, 3. I have 8 changes to merge. All right, let's see what we got here. Solution file is always dicey to deal with. Stop it. Go away, Visual Studio Code. So, CoreWiki Extensibility Common, CoreWiki Extensibility Chapel, the Chapel, Extensibility, CoreWiki Extensibility Common, later Visual Studio Code. Okay, go away. I'm going to take, actually, I think I'm going to take Miguel's changes on this one, because that looks like a project folder, and I think I'd like that project folder capability, which means I'm also going to want these ones. All right. Next, CoreWiki CS Proj. So this is the project file for our website. Let's see. Okay, the feisty goat has gotten me curious. Where's the feisty goat? Where do you see the feisty goat? Have I used Atom? It's pretty good. So, Atom's based on Electron, and Electron is what Visual Studio Code is based on, and the reviews are in, and people really like Visual Studio Code. So, and I work for Microsoft, so I'm going to stick with Visual Studio Code, if that's okay. Oh, the feisty goat. Yes, that's the name. That's the name of the sports bar that Miguel was referencing as a second type of extensibility. So I'm going to accept and let the feisty goat get added here. Let's see. Standard and custom architectural industrial paints and coatings. Oh no. Every self-updating app should be like Paint.net with an option to update on exit. Yeah. No, I probably won't use Atom here, and honestly, I don't think I'll use Rider. What do we got here? All right. Next is Startup CS. Now, Miguel had dropped this concept of module events here, and I think I have the exact same code up top here. So I think, just looking back and forth between the two groups, right, and I could put these side by side. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want any of those. They added some new cool things here. These actually look like the same. And I think I want the top one. Oh, look at that. And I don't have the cool little accepting doodad. That's alright. Now, I'm not thrilled with having this public static hanging out here. And I plan on doing something about that. And I also don't like having these extra lines in here when we've got everything all nice and wrapped up in app statements here. You think... Yeah, VS Code does do that. It prompts you, and when I exit, it will... When I say later, it should do the install. Atom is owned by GitHub. GitHub is now part of Microsoft. Yes, it is. Yep. Well, when the merger is approved. Not quite yet. Did you one line too many on that delete? No, I needed to leave the CoreWiki module events out here. Okay. They're removed in my PR. Yeah, okay. Good, then we'll bring that in as part of that one. So we'll include that. Now, app settings JSON. Oh no. Boy. Alright, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy out these other modules here, but I'm going to keep mine. And I will add references for these other ones. So at least you can see them. I know it's not standard JSON. I know you're not supposed to put comments in JSON, but it's a configuration file. So I need to be able to comment things out. Create CSHTML CS. What do we have here? Private read-only module events. Private read-only module events. I'm going to keep my current change. We're good there. And it's the same deal here. So we're all right on that. Next change. All right, so here's Miguel's injected code. And it's the exact same thing on the lower half. So I'm going to keep my change. I'll get rid of his initials there. Good. We need to remove those. All right. Now down here, now these are both exactly the same thing, it looks like. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep the one he submitted to us and make sure that that comment stays, because I think that's kind of handy to have there. Save that one, stash it away. App settings CS. Extensibility Modules config. It's duplication there. So we don't need both of those. Good. Next one, project file. I brought it into Netcore App 2.1. He put it in Net Standard 2.0. All right, if it works in Net Standard, we'll take the Net Standard. What? It doesn't have merge conflicts. I just resolved it. Next one. So he did Net Standard here as well. So we will take that. We will keep that. Go. Now, why is it saying that? All right. I think we've got it. Let's, like obvious to man, but Net Standard for .NET Core. Good question. Why .NET Standard versus .NET Core? .NET Core is is a concrete version of a framework, right? It's got a full implementation that runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux, and it has concrete implementations of all of the APIs. Versus .NET Standard, if we wanted to use this on .NET Framework, we wanted to use it somewhere else for flexibility, and also as a class library, it's independent of .NET Core changes. So when the .NET Core framework versions, these things that are coupled to .NET Standard will continue to work in those other versions of .NET Core. It'll also work if we wanted to introduce this into it like a Xamarin project. If we had a tablet application that went along with this, you would be able to use this same extensibility module on the tablet that we're using with the website. Yeah, .NET Standard it's more like it's an API declaration, right? When if you've used Android, there's API levels that you see, right? And we're out through like API level 18 or something like that. And the various API levels are implemented by different versions of the Android operating system. It's the same thing here. It's an API level that's been documented and says these are the standard things that this version of .NET supports. Then if other folks want to build a .NET runtime, they want to build a .NET framework that supports their IoT pet rock, they can say, well, we support .NET Standard 2.0 in our IoT pet rock. So if you want to open an HTTP client and connect to it, you know the standard, or connect out from your pet rock so you can post status information to an Azure function or, somewhere on AWS or whatever. You have a standard interface that you know how to code against. Similarly, folks at Samsung? Yeah, at Samsung have been working with their Tizen operating system, and they've got a version of .NET Core that runs over there that supports .NET Standard. So if you know how to code C# and .NET Standard APIs, you know how to write code for a television. That's pretty cool. You know how to write code for whatever, appliances they decide to put .NET in that run Tizen. That's pretty cool. And you get that because you know how to code with .NET Standard. Thumbs up from Draga. All right. All right, so we should be able now to merge this. So let's do that. Git commit merged Miguel's changes. Cool. And now I should be able to. I don't want to check out dev and merge into dev. I want to check out my feature branch. That one, right? Git merge. It wants me to do a no FF. No fast forward. That's fine. And now git push origin. There we go. And it's pushed up. And this should say that it was merged. It should. Now, is that because it's looking in dev, I'm thinking? Let me just look over here real quick. Feature extensibility. And if we look at that, and if we look at this, right, two parents, not that one. Is it this one? We should see Miguel in the commit history now. There he is. All right, fantastic. Ship it. All right, so we have that merged in, and I'm going to close this pull request. All right. Thanks for sharing this source code. I've merged it with our feature extensibility branch. Typing. I do it professionally. All right. Good. Okay. That was a lot. But Erwin's done some research on this, and it looks like there's some pretty good discussion here. I've been watching it in my emails here. And everybody else who stars the repository, who watches the repository, you've probably seen some of this chatter going on. And Erwin's done some work here to, it looks like, add some extra events around comments as well. That's pretty cool. And a whole bunch of commits here that support all of these things. Let me take a look here at the chat room and catch up. You know how to write code for a television. I love being a coder right now. Absolutely. Xamarin Forms works native in Tizen. Yes, it does. And all of your .NET Standard libraries can be referenced from Xamarin Forms on Tizen. You can make code that works in a fridge. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get the Scots to pay for me to get a new refrigerator that runs Tizen so I can run .NET on it at home and do some testing. SBTW15, thanks so much for the follow. Steve, you're getting a little sweaty there. You look a little tired. Hang in there, buddy. C# projects to Smart Fridge. What has Family Hub? Does it? What about loading external DLLs at runtime as plugins? Ask So Serious now. So that's a little bit of what Miguel, his Extensibility Manager, does for us. Let me flip back to that. I'm going to close VS Code for a second, even though I think we're going to end up using it again for another merge. Let's go back into CoreWiki here. Ta-ta. Come on. There we go. I'm running the latest preview version of Visual Studio. This is like version 18 point, I forget what. But it's actually loading things a heck of a lot faster than it did at one point. So we have all of these folders and things going on here, but in particular, this Extensibility Manager is what Miguel wrote. And you will see it actually loads the objects. It looks like I've got some compiler issues here that we're going to need to address. Rory Becker from Code Rushed. Oh, thanks so much, Rory. I appreciate you joining. And there's our friend Chef Brent in the chat room. Good morning. Let's see if I can actually get this. Is that different from MEF? So MEF, so for folks who might not be familiar with the acronym, MEF stands for the Managed Extensibility Framework, and it was a framework that Microsoft promoted a few years ago as a way to do dependency injection using a series of APIs that were different, and you decorated things with attributes so that it knew what fulfilled what contract, and it didn't use interfaces in the language as nicely as other dependency injection containers like Ninject or Autofac. So you don't see people preferring MEF, the Managed Extensibility Framework, as much as using some of the more modern dependency injection capabilities. 8 a.m. Oh, that's right. Brent's out on the West Coast. So it's a little bit different. So it looks like we've got some build errors here that we need to address, and this should not have gotten in, but looks like we've got just a couple issues here that we should be able to address. Articles submitted, event args. Now, why did it say there was another one of those already? I don't see it. Pre-submit article event args. Oh, you know what? We're inside of... No, we're good there. That's the end of that class. Here's the next class. How about a CoreWiki packages repository on GitHub, and people can use a CoreWiki package manager to install these extensions? That's a little bit further, but not a terrible idea at all. A little bit further down. You know what? Do we actually have there is another pre-submit article event args. I knew it. And it's in this file. All right, well, let's delete that file. Hey, all right. Did that clear up things? No, don't do that. Bad idea. Bad idea. Just for another couple days, then back to Philly in time for the charity stream already in progress. So my friends, the other local Philadelphia area streamers are going to be running a charity stream through the weekend. And I'm going to try and sneak in there for a little bit. Maybe do some streaming with them over the weekend. We'll see. So I'm hopeful. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna removed extra class file. You know what? And that should actually be amended. Oh man. Yeah, I know. Git push. Cool. All right. Is that a Lucio hat? Yes, it is. What do you think? Look at that. It's beautiful. Our healer on the Philadelphia Fusion, it goes by the name Neptuno. Amazing Lucio player. No, it's not a Dev Chatter hat. I don't think he makes hats. Oh my gosh. I got wrapped up in a... Somebody on Twitter started a thread and included 50 people's names, referencing them. Oh, you should follow all of these people. And I was one of these 50 people on the list. And there is a non-stop thread of replies going back and forth on this thread. And I'm just getting bombarded with notifications. And it's insane. WTF Blub with the Genji quote. Nice. Nice. Can I unnotify from thread? I can mute from part of the thread, but there are so many forks on the thread, it's kind of pointless. So let's take a look here at all the cool things that Erwin has for us, because Erwin put in a lot of work here, and I want to make sure that we give him his due. He liked the extensibility architecture by Miguel and wanted to learn from it. No, I absolutely want to give you credit here, Erwin, for the work that you've done. Let's take a look. Change the loading of CoreWiki modules through reflection instead of the configuration file. This assumes that only administrators, authorized people, would have access to the CoreWiki installation. Look in the root for internal modules. Look in the CoreWiki modules folder for third-party modules. So what Erwin is explaining here, and let me compare that with what Miguel did so that we can understand and we can decide on this, because I want to ask you, chat room, how we should go on this. I want to make sure that we're doing the right thing. If we look at the app settings, what Miguel showed us was he actually defines the modules that we want to load here inside of the configuration. This way, you have a little bit more explicit control over exactly which modules are being loaded. And in the startup class, it actually does a for loop over each module that it sees in that extensibility objects group and decides what to load. We should go tell people on the thread to stop commenting. No, it's quite all right. There's people like Donna Sarkar on that list, right? She's the head of the Windows Insider program, and I'm thrilled to be mentioned in the same in the same paragraph as her, because she's got a lot of folks that she's working on their machines and getting configuration done properly. He seems to love thread flushing API. The C++ WinRT cover is good. Oh no, the Tim Sweeney Okay. So, versus what Erwin is suggesting here is, well, if there's modules in this folder and they've got the API, load them. Thank you, Standby Reloading. I'm working on it. As Epic Games who do Real Engine. The Unreal Engine. I think that's a different conversation. So Erwin also implemented events for pre-account creation. Passes no values as I'm not sure we want to pass account information to external modules. These could be a little bit dicey. When an account is created, what actions do you want to take on the account? Make it configurable in the database. That's one option. Absolutely. There's a lot we can do around that. These, I think, are a little risky security-wise. And I want to take a little bit further look at that. But pre-article creation, post-article creation, that was those are the ones that Miguel initially had for us, along with edit. And he also, Erwin also introduced events for pre-comment and post-comment creation. So that's pretty cool. Only create pre-post article are currently hooked up with the relevant pages, so this PR doesn't interfere. Now I've got a whole bunch of changes in here, including ignoring ncrunch, a CoreWiki modules folder, removed Extensibility Modules config from app settings. Right, because there's a different perception that Erwin has here. That's why they don't do anything at the moment. Yeah. My Twitter thread issue reminds you of the Me Too email storm. Oh, yes. There's a similar, they call it Threadzilla out there on Twitter, where folks are arguing over whether pineapple belongs on pizza.
It can be done exactly how I want it.
That's right, I want pineapple on my pizza, Walter White.
The question is, are you the man to do it?
Darn straight I'm putting pineapple on my pizza. Yeah, that's good, Erwin. We can figure out exactly what we want to do there. You added some unit tests. Awesome. Removed single check from module loader since in appvar, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Removed reference hint paths from CSproj. Okay. And Nemanja actually had a question here. Could you, and I'm still pronouncing that right, correct? Tabs versus spaces. Cut that out! I can see the benefit in the reflection-based method, as it will only find files that exist. Config could reference files that don't exist. If you want to load if you don't want a module to load, you can delete it, rename it, move it. Okay, that's a good point. Oh, thank you, Nemanja. I just want to make sure. We want to make sure that I'm saying everybody's name properly. Gordon Ramsay status. All right, standby reloading. We're not even going there, and yes, it does go on top of pizza. It's amazing. With ham, a little bit of cinnamon. Oh, so good. The modules folder essentially acts as your config. Yeah, I agree. I like the DB config idea, but I'm not that into entity framework. Ooh, Ashley. Yes. So I saw... Welcome back to Food Chat, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeff, and I'll be your host for the next 5 minutes. I saw somebody do a barbecue demonstration on YouTube, and they took a pineapple, whole pineapple, cut off the skin from it, and they soaked it in Fireball whiskey in a bag, in a sealed bag, and they marinated it for a good 2 hours. Okay, first off, marinating pineapple in cinnamon whiskey. Oh, so good. And then they put it on barbecue on a rotisserie and let it spin and cooked it so that it caramelized on the outside. Oh man, that looks so good. Don't eat and drive. Don't eat and code. Do you have any idea what your keyboards look like there, folks? I need to do like a pineapple makes pizza better. Yeah, I think so. It's pretty good. Sidetrack thoughts. I know. All right. Getting back to the code. I think needs. All right. So Nemanja says, can you explain the problem with passing account data to third parties? If we're automatically loading what's in that folder, the concern is if you haven't approved a module, explicitly approved it to be loaded, right, and that's going to receive that data, you could have somebody drop some code in there that may hijack account data, right? There's a security problem waiting to happen there, and that's where I think what some folks are saying here in the chat room makes a lot of sense. If you have an extra layer of configuration that says, oh, I found these modules, which ones would you like to activate? That extra layer of configuration as a security check might be a very good thing. One of my coworkers has to vacuum clean her keyboard every 2 days. Oh boy. If someone's able to drop a DLL in there, they will be able to modify the config file too. Yeah, you're right. If somebody is able to get a module in there, they can do whatever they want through a reflection. Yes. If you want to go 100%, add Peach too. Peach. Is that like a Georgia thing on pizza? Let me know. Or Sumner, if they have access to the modules folder, they have access to app config. Right, so I would put it in a database or somewhere else. You can make it configurable in the administration panel. It's a shame app domains don't exist in .NET Core. It's perfect for plugins extensibility. Yeah. Is there a chance that we can pull modules from share, but app is under key? Not sure. Some discussion first before doing something that might be a security risk. With regards to security administrator is in control of what DLLs are installed. Well, there's also some concern if you're able to upload into that folder. If you're able to upload into that folder, right, because of a misconfigured website, web application, web host, that's going to be a problem. And for GDR part, I guess no one knows for sure. Well, that's a whole nother thing. And you move discussion over here. You should never feel intimidated or have any concerns with asking questions on pull requests or issue threads. Please, everybody out there, feel free to ask questions on these things. We're all pretty open as long as we're respectful of each other and we ask good questions so that we're learning together and we're not doing anything to intimidate or to harass other folks. Please, let's chat. Let's learn together because, Nemanja might have some good questions here that lead into a good direction. Reading a blog post earlier stated in the way we're loading DLLs now, it won't be able to reference DLLs that are not already in the app domain. It's something we will need to fix. The only defensive security measure is to only allow signed modules. Oh boy. So signed modules or some sort of a signed package. Yeah. And I want to recognize our latest follower there. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for joining us. And I don't see the English version of your name here in my Twitch console. Getting deep into security here. And Ashley, I very much appreciate that you're familiar with that domain. There's definitely concerns there that we should explore before we deploy this somewhere public, before we light up this functionality. because you're right, there are potential security problems regardless of which way we go, whether there's configuration in the app settings JSON or it's just loading every DLL that's out there. Since NuGet packages are just zip files, maybe that would be the easiest way to get this done. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's best to assume the only person able to install modules is an admin installer. I kind of agree with you for right now. Let's finish reading the Manja's comments here. In application builder extensions, you just say Extensibility Manager equals get service, type of Extensibility Manager. This will instantiate the manager and let DI inject it. CoreWiki module loader, which is part of Extensibility Manager, has to load DLLs from disk, which can take a while. Is it really that long? I agree, Ashley. It's not the best, but it's gonna get us. It's gonna get us continuing to move here. Can we ask Visual Studio team what they do? The Visual Studio team what they do. For V6 extensions that are deployed through their through the marketplace, there's a scanner that reviews what's going on in those things, is what I understand. So there's a couple conflicts here we're gonna need to resolve. Didn't want the first request to be slow, so I added get service to force the wiki loader to load modules at application startup. There might be a better way of ensuring this. Allow module developers to create their own Extensibility Manager with a different way of loading modules. I'd rather not. This is something I'm okay with us being opinionated on. Depends on the amount of modules. I noticed the delay. All right. You know what? When we merge, we'll take a look-see. And why is rethrowing the exception from Extensibility modules breaking the app? If the exception is not handled within the page calling Extensibility Manager, the application will crash. Yeah. Since we are already logging the exception, I didn't see a reason to let the exceptions through to the page. This will likely change when Mediator is implemented, as you will want to handle exceptions within the Mediator request handler. It's going to be amazing when we introduce that. I'm looking forward to that. And folks like Jimmy were interested in coming back to help with that. So we've got a couple of conflicts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 conflicts we've got to take a look at here. Let's take a look-see. Let's take a look at this. So, I'm not going to be able to squash and merge. I could resolve the conflicts here. I wouldn't even squash and merge from this. Let's bring this down. Where am I? Here. Right, and that's coming into, yeah, feature extensibility. Good. Git pull, make sure we're on good, and we'll bring this in. There's all my conflicts. And I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code. Working on Mediator this morning, but kept breaking things. We've been talking about DDD a lot, and I was reading Jimmy's posts on that, but it seems to prefer vertical slice architecture at the moment. Okay. Alright, let's see what we need to change here. Go away. Shoo. Alright, startup. Later. Not right now. I like this. Add singleton. I like it. And you even left Miguel's initials on it. Alright. And then configure extensibility after that. What's the difference? Oh, no, wait. Miguel added that. You call this. Alright, so let's take what you've done. Right, configure extensibility. Let's see if it'll find that. No. Configure extensibility. Module events, new CoreWiki module events, add singleton. CoreWiki module events. There it is. Nice. All right. So that makes sense to me what you're doing there. Cool. I think yeah, that's it for startup. Good. Next is the create page. So where we were doing check article submitted extensibility event, you now have Extensibility Manager invoke post article create event. Now what does that do? Here. Holy cannoli. Oh, this is going to be a treat to merge. Invoke, pre-register, post-register. Okay, so these are the various events. So you're just returning the event. So you're saying Extensibility Manager invoke post-article create event. So here it is invoking it. Create the argument. Okay, invoke module event. You're not returning it. Oh dear Lord. My phone's going crazy with notifications from this thread that I'm on. Put that singleton in scoped services. Actually good where it is with those things. Yeah. Okay. And invoke module event. Yeah, it's... Where does this live? Right? It's gotta be... There it is. So it's taking an action type of... Ooh, so you've really made this generic. If module event equals null, module event args. Okay. Let me back out of here and finish looking at this one before I take a look at that one. So I'm going to take Erwin's changes here, because I think that dramatically simplifies things and it moves it all into one place. It'll make it a lot easier to resolve what's going on there. Feature creep! Feature creep! Thank you for following. I hope that's not one person out there constantly creating new folks to click follow. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So the change here, invoke pre-article create event, bind validation results. Yeah, I think Erwin has a good update there. And we'll get rid of that one. Cool. That's create, and we will commit that. All right, app settings. So Erwin's removing the extensibility modules here. I'm okay with that because we're gonna make this a little bit more secure later with some volume of settings that will save to a database that will be effectively an admin approving the activation of those. ASP.NET Core feature nerd. That beard is going rainbow. We'll see. And, hey, oh, I'm gonna forget how to pronounce your name. Mjoma. Gosh, and Standby Reloading got his mug for putting together that green screen image of the dinosaur chasing me. Thanks so much for that. Alright. Woot. Yes, the green screen dinosaur. I should show it. I should show it. Not this guy. No. There's the architecture workshop. No. There's the initial green screen. Not that guy. No. Where is it? I had it linked here. Because I know I've posted it. I don't see it anymore. I just had it up. Was it linked right after this? No, no. Alright, I'm not going to dig into that any further. Ah, there it is. Thank you. No, that's the video. There's that. Alright. Slateboard asks, is this beginner friendly? Oh, I hope we're very beginner friendly here. Yes. Save and verify the SHA hash of the DLL too. Now that's a little bit further. No, I was just looking for the picture. I'm at the stage where I've done some stuff, but need to actually do a thing. There it is. I love that image. That's hysterical. My mother made that the wallpaper on her iPad, okay? That's how funny she thought that was. So, alright, so we're still merging some things here. So, the CoreWiki module events, we've expanded a little here because we've got a couple of new events that are in the mix. Not just these two that we started with from Miguel. So I'm going to go with the expanded list of events here. And that's pretty cool. Yeah. I removed the markers. Alright, now it's going to start to get a little crazy. Because, dear Lord. What do we got here? So using system. Oh, looks like I can take the incoming here without too much of an issue. Now, the initial implementation that Miguel gave us was very simple, and for the purposes of doing a demo in an hour, I'm kind of happy with it. But Erwin's gone and added some other cool things in here to abstract away and make this a heck of a lot easier to invoke these events. Oh, catch you later, Least Fix Point. Thanks so much for joining us. So I'm going to take Erwin's implementation of the Extensibility Manager because he's got a lot going on here. Let me get rid of that byte order mark there. We'll get rid of this and CoreWiki module. Now, initially, it just had an void initialize CoreWiki module events, and now we have an CoreWiki module host. Now, what's a CoreWiki module host? The events exposed to a CoreWiki module. Oh, and the logger factory. So you're bundling all of that together and delivering it. Okay. That's fine, because it's going to we're going to end up shipping more things as part of this. So I'm okay with this expansion of the capabilities here. So let's get rid of that and that. As we add more capabilities to the extensibility, there's going to be more things that we add into the mix here. So we will accept that. And Extensibility Manager now. Oh boy. Alright, we'll take... I'm always okay with having a using system statement, but the Extensibility Manager went from having just invoke module event, invoke cancelable module event, to now invoking all of the various events. More concrete events instead of the generic event types. And that's okay. Alright. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go back to normal Visual Studio, let it reload everything, and we'll take a look and make sure that everything compiles. Now, that formatting just looks a little funny there. So app use extensibility, configure extensibility. These aren't quite loading yet. Let's take a build here and see what it throws errors on. Oh, Nelly. Okay. I'm seeing first off, the first things that when I look at merge errors like this, the first ones I want to go to are the ones on the project files, because they might pop these other ones right off the top because it can't find those objects yet. Project CoreWiki Core supports .NET Core App 2.1. CoreWiki Core is not compatible with Net Standard 2 in CoreWiki Extensibility. This is what I was afraid of. So CoreWiki Extensibility Common, so the shared project here. Bad idea. I want us to get used to reading the actual source code of the project file, because it's actually really easy to read. This project implements .NET Standard 2.0, and it references the various Microsoft extensions things here that are they're abstractions over things. We're pretty okay. We're pretty safe with these. But then we're referencing our CoreWiki.core project. Now, that project is .NET Core. Why is it .NET Core? Because I said so. Because it's done how I want it to be done. That's why. It's referencing Razor. Can I flip this to standard? Can I make that .NET Standard? I'd love to make that .NET Standard 2.0. The question is, will it? Oh, Namanja's got to go. All right, catch you later. Let's see if it'll build now. Da, 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 da. Nope. But those project files have all cleared out. We're pretty good on those at this point. The projects that Miguel brought to us, the chapel here with the profanity check, is missing the implementation of some things, it looks like. So we're probably okay. Extensions... Wait, where'd that go? Hang on. Try that again. Build one more time. Alright. I think we're okay. So we have some tests that we need to fix here. We have some things in the chapel, in the profanity check module, that need to be updated. This is Extensibility Managers having a problem with path.join. Path.join is a thing. No, it might not be. This is in CoreWiki Extensibility Common. I thought that was a thing. Docs, Microsoft.com. Path combine. That'll do. You're right. Thank you, Standby Reloading. Big points to you. Let's see what we got here. So that looks fixed. Let's see what else we got here. Oh boy. Hang on. Try this again. Because I'm getting a mix of things coming up here. Alright. So our edit page needs a little bit of trimming. The feisty goat is having a problem. That just sounds wrong. CoreWiki module initialize. Right. So it has a different signature now, where it takes an CoreWiki module host. So now we should be saying CoreWiki module host events article submitted. So I believe that's now called post. Well, it's on both create and edit. Now I bet that on article submitted has a different, yeah, we need to do that. Wait a sec. No! I don't want to. I don't want to do that because I'm actually going to. Let's remove this so we don't confuse anything. Because I need actually a new method. There we go. We're going to end up doing the exact same thing here. CoreWiki module host events, and this is going to be on post edit article. Now, can I use the same thing? No. On article edited. Yeah, because there are two different types of event arguments. That's okay. And we'll get rid of this. I think we're good. Holemi C#. What is that? If interested in new things in C#, look. Okay. Oh, Code Rushed episode 2 is coming up. Alright, catch you later, Rory. Alright. So is that all my fixes I have here? Is that all I need? No. So so here's specials of the day module, and our initialize is different as well. So I need to do the same thing. So he calls it on pre-submit article, and he takes pre-submit article event args. This is slightly different, but I think it has the exact same stuff. But this is sample code. This is something that's probably not going to run here. Okay. Let's see, what do we got here? Let's do. How much do I really want to maintain this code going forward? It's not just a naming thing. This isn't something that we're going to maintain, right? This is something that's going to go away once we're beyond the sample. This is pre-create article. Before article created. And we'll create that method. And I don't really care about it. CoreWiki module host. That one. Events. Is it pre-edit article? Does he do it on that also? Pre-submit. He's adding it every time is what he's doing. He's adding the daily specials. I think it only needs to go on the pre-create. for what Miguel's trying to demonstrate here. Get rid of that. Nope, I'm missing one. There we go. All right. This should now be obj.content. All right. I think that solves that. Do we really need to keep this in? Yeah. I would like to move this out into a sample. I was going back and forth between pre-create, on submit. Let's finish getting this merged, and we can talk about that. And I think we do move we do move the feisty goat out into a sample. It's a module where we should be pretty okay with moving this out. Alright, startup does not contain a definition for module events. Right, this isn't needed anymore. Nor is... Oh, wait a sec. Oh, wait a sec. Because... it is receiving an Extensibility Manager. Right, I don't need to go through that, because the Extensibility Manager... And then I can get rid of that one. Yep. Good. So then down here, module events doesn't exist, but Extensibility Manager... Right, so now where are the events hanging? Right, let's go back to startup so that we understand. Right, so we have configure extensibility here, module events. So now CoreWiki module events is where they live. So I can receive that in my edit. Ta-da. And now I can do and yep, generate that read-only field, and then I can go down here. Okay. Now this is not pre-submit in the edit. It's going to be if it's going to be pre-edit is what we're looking for. Good. So now we're going to say not invoke cancelable. We're going to say invoke pre-article edit event. And it's going to be pre-edit article. And then the content. Wait a sec. You've, aha. This is where you've moved this. Because it's not just raise this event. Okay. Now, this returns as a collection of arguments. Okay. Is null or white space, validation results. We don't want to say is null or white space. We actually want to, check the args have the model results. Yeah. Yeah, the validation results, which is a collection of validation results. So we need to do an any on those instead, right? args.validation results any. So these are just error messages and error properties. I think we can just do an any. Add model error, article, and oh, you know what? Let's just turn this into a for each. Let's call this error in args validation results. Right, so now we can say, come here, you. No, stop, wait. Ooh. Error property. There we go. And an extension method to map them to the model state. Cool. Where? Bind validation result. Well, look at that. So it's on the model state. So if instead of doing this, if I did model state bind to validation result, and but I need to be in. Well, let's do this. No, it doesn't find it. Hold that thought. Ta-ta. Find it. Yep, there it is. Args validation results. That works. Args add validation error. Why? Isn't that what this does? Error property. Adds a validation error to the validation errors collection. I'm not adding validation errors. I want to bind them to my model state. Now what? What's the next error we've got? All right, CoreWiki module events in edit for article submitted. This is the post event down here. So I think I can probably lift. Probably lift this entire bit of logic here. Okay, now this is instead post edit article, which doesn't have a cancelable. So we don't need this. We don't need that. Instead, we're going to invoke post article edit event. Topic content and returns void. Bonus! 2 live streams! Yeah, looks like Mark started up his stream, which puts him directly opposite Dev Chatter as well. That's going to be a problem. All right, where are we going? So that looks like I've got that fixed now. Ta-ta. Build everything, build the stuff. Good, build succeeded. Unit tests, because we've got more unit tests. Look at that, 38 of them now. Woohoo! And everybody's happy. Awesome. All right. Let's get rid of this one. Let's merge it. Merged the streams. Space Shot.
Keeps being my 7-month anniversary over and over.
Thanks so much for the subscription, Chris. I really appreciate that. That's our friend Chris Gomez. He's a local MVP here in the Philadelphia area. Thanks so much for joining. Works on my machine. Merge it. Yes, absolutely. But what I should do is I should do a rebase, because there is a ton going on here. No, you know, it will end up squashing and merging when we go to when we merge this into dev. So I think we're okay. I think we're okay. Just banging that in to it. Works on my machine, ship it. Absolutely. The ultimate goal, making the whole thing emoji. Alright, now our extensibility bits are merged. Merged! Thanks so much for the, what's it called? For the contribution. This is great and moves us closer to having a robust extensibility model. Awesome. I really like that. Alright. Lots and lots of commits in there. And actually, that should actually bounce, did he say production? No, into the dev branch. I don't have a production yet. If I refresh... Oh my gosh, we haven't done anything on Stream Tools this month. If I refresh that scoreboard here, it should update and we should start to see... on CoreWiki, top there's Irwin with a little bit, and we should see Miguel pop into the list here at some point. Fetching data from GitHub. Here we go. So let's see if some of that data pops up. I actually intended to use Stream Tools as the sample codebase for Git last night. Ooh. Experimental talk and ran out of time. Alright. That was cool. The last pull request that we have hanging... Holy crow! Smab, you've been busy while we've been talking here. Oh boy. Alright, so this is a work in progress introducing DTOs from Ashley. I'm not going to dig too far into this. There's not much for us to move on there. There's an ongoing discussion. I want to take a look at these couple ones that we have here from Smab. Upgrade Bootstrap to 413 and font awesome. So this is kind of a challenge that I think we have. Every time we upgrade the versions of these external libraries, we've got to go upgrade the SHA. We've got to upgrade the version number on all of these files so that we can get them mapped properly. I'm okay with updating the package JSON where it's referenced, but it feels like we're doing a bit of yak shaving every time there's a new version that's released. And actually, you've done some adaptation of the theme so they support the new features of each framework. Wow! Smab, this is great. Thank you. Thank you for keeping us up to date there. Yikes. Alright. I'll let this merge. Yeah, do it. Thanks for updating the CSS frameworks. We'll finish these last couple of pull requests, and I think we'll call it there and raid over to one of the other fellows' streams. A bit of yak shaving when updating the external libraries, especially for CSS-based stuff. I'd like to abstract that and put the configuration of what those properties are in one file and then load it from that location when we go and build out the content. Upgraded to ASP.NET Core 2.1.2. So for those of you that haven't seen, there was a July update that included a couple of security patches, a couple of performance updates, and it was labeled version 2.1.2 of ASP.NET Core. Smab has updated our references, so now we're using, instead of 2.1.1, as you see here, we'll go to version 2.1.2. So inside that project, inside this project, upgrading to the .NET Test SDK of 15.8, XUnit to 2.40 from 2.3.1. Brad Wilson has wanted to join us here on stream, and I really need to get him in the mix here. He's one of the architects of XUnit. It'd be a lot of fun to work with him on some of this. So, some general tidying here. Thanks so much. And this was already checked and came through clean. So you can see by the checks, AppVer has already run all of our tests, and it still works. Thanks for updating to the July release. Crows uses a lot of XUnit. Oh, cool. I think it would be great to have Brad join us, answer some questions, give us a little bit of insight into how XUnit does and how it works and how we can be more effective with XUnit. So Ashley has a pull request here. Create underscored fields from constructor parameters. This way you can use the control .completion on the constructor parameter to automatically create an underscored private read-only variable. What did you put in here? Editor config you updated. No, you added an editor config. Where did you put editor config? I thought we already had an editor config in the project, didn't we? It's in the project. It's in CoreWiki. It's not up at the top. You moved it to solution files. Aha. 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 Then I should have seen a remove here as well. Right, and when I click into that, it's just showing me that one file. It's not actually showing me where it's moved. But that's fine. Now, what's interesting, what I like that Ashley brought in here, is the .NET naming rules. Right, these weren't in the earlier versions of Visual Studio that I was using, but they are available as editor config capabilities now, and they are using our naming conventions we've been preferring here on stream. So I'm going to accept and merge this. So I really like that because it'll keep all of us kind of using the same format so that none of us are really out building something significantly different from the others. So thanks a bunch for making this standard happen. I really appreciate it when you folks think of some of those things to kind of get us all thinking in the same way. So when new folks join us, they kind of get nudged in the appropriate direction for what we as a community think is a good standard, something good for us to continue to reference and use. It looks like our GitHub stuff hasn't completely recalculated. That's okay, we'll see it update tomorrow. Only the basics of editor config work on VS Code. It's coming. It's coming around. That's something that they see as a productivity tool that they want to continue to update and grow. All right, so let's wrap up. So we merged in a bunch of pull requests here. We made a lot of changes to help support extensibility, and this is going to be important going forward as we look into other features around workflow and some advanced configuration capabilities that we want to bring into CoreWiki in the future. We're laying a solid foundation at this point that'll enable those optional features and enable folks to build new features into the application without having to actually modify the core source code to CoreWiki. That's too many cores. All right, anyways. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for your pull requests. Big thank you to Miguel for getting us kicked off with this talk about extensibility from the architecture workshop that we had on Friday. You can, of course, find that architecture workshop on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/C#Fritz, and there's a link that'll pop up here on my nameplate, pointing you where to go there. And I think, there you go. Space Shot put the link there right in the chat room. And looks like he really enjoyed it. Fantastic. Thanks so much for the kind words about that. Tomorrow would normally be F# Friday, but I'm going to reach out to some friends and see if we can get the lowdown. See if we can talk a little bit about Blazor tomorrow. And talk through that, because they just released version 0.5 of Blazor. And our friend Scott Hanselman just had a podcast that he released today with Steve Sanderson talking about it. But I want to see if we can find some folks and write some code together about Blazor tomorrow. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the stream here by doing a raid over to Code Rushed. So that is Mark Miller and Rory Becker. They just started up this brand new live stream where they're actually building a game in JavaScript, and they're walking through some of that process. And if you follow that Code Rushed channel, Mark's going to give away a free copy of Code Rush at the end of every stream that they run. So let's run a raid over there to our friend Mark. And if you'd like to join the raid, go ahead and join in. Click the button at the top of the chat room and you'll be included. And in just a few seconds, we'll all go over there to Mark's stream, and we'll join in and see what's going on with some of the cool things that they're building together. So it looks a bit like we were going to send about 50 people over. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, where hopefully we'll talk a little bit about Blazor. Take care.